Welcome everybody to the Deep Dive with Coach Escobar. I'm your host, Blake Munroe, where I'm joined by my friend, head athletic director, head football coach, Jake Escobar. How are you today, sir?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Use that word friend term real loosely. I'm just kidding.
Jake, or Coach Escobar, excuse me. For those that don't know you, let's start with telling us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, and how you got back to Comanche.
Okay. Well, I grew up here. I was kind of off and on as early on in my childhood. My mother and dad were divorced, so I went with my mom, and we lived in Austin, Bastrop, Pflugerville. We lived everywhere.
God's country.
God's country, right? And then I came back home about the age of 9, 10, right around that time, and moved in with my grandparents, and so I kind of grew up. I consider myself a Comanche because I was born here.
Mm-hmm.
I just left for a short while and came back, but grew up playing in Little League baseball, Pee Wee basketball here, CYC. I don't know what it was called back then.
I don't even remember.
You don't even remember. You don't even know when you're growing up. You just go show them and play, right? We used to play in the gym, so. And I drove by the old ballparks out there going on, is it Highway 16?
Yeah, going towards Gulf Lake.
Yeah. And now it's just a bunch of rock pile out there. And that used to be our baseball field.
That's where you and I first met.
That's right.
Watching you, I, of course, a little bit younger, but I remember you out there playing co-ed softball and getting after it, man.
That's right, man. I used to love it. I was talking, one of the coaches asked me, Coach, I heard you were a softball player. And I was, well, I used to be. Last time I played, I think I struck out, so I kind of quit playing. But no, and so I grew up here, and we played everything here. Was part of a great group of student athletes during that time, and our teachers were really good. I mean, our community's always been that way. I felt, and I think that's what kind of drew me back here. But growing up here, I think if I could have grown up anywhere else, like if I'd have grown up in Austin, I probably wouldn't be a coach. I don't know what I would have been doing,
Interesting.
But I think the teachers, the administrators, and the community played a big part of me being who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I got a business degree.
Yes.
So business management, so I thought I was going to go out in the world and be a business leader. But luckily I worked here at the co-op when I graduated, and they allowed me to go back to school and get my teacher certificate. And so I started working in Athens with Coach Gideon. I don't know if you remember Coach Gideon. Okay. Yeah. Coach Gideon was our defensive coordinator at that time. And he when I graduated, he got the job at Athens. Well, he hired me as a junior high coach. And then he left after a year. And then I had been student teaching here, and Coach Murphy called me and offered me a job here, full time. So I came back, and then I left after that, and then I went. I was here with Murphy for 5 years, and we had some great kids. I mean, we coached some great kids. We're really blessed, and it's funny because I see some of them now. They have businesses here like the Hollands, but they were all good football players. But I've always felt like we've had great kids, and I always felt like we had kids that could play at the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think they just needed a lot of pushing, and sometimes you got to just step out on that limb and push them, and that's what So when I left, I went to Odessa Permian, and then I went everywhere. I've been in
all
West
over
Texas,
the state.
yeah. But so I've been West, Houston, South Texas.
Yeah.
The only place I really haven't been is North Texas.
Yeah.
But I mean, you never know. But I mean, this is home, and I enjoy it here. So and that's why I came back.
So going back to when you graduated from Tarleton, business, you said that was the plan. What was that defining moment when you were like, maybe I want to be a coach? What pushed you, or who pushed you in that direction?
I guess when you're a kid and you grow up in a community and you're taught to be humble, and you're taught humility, you don't have much confidence speaking in front of a bunch of people. So I think that's where that my fear of being a teacher, I can't do that. There's no way I can do that. So coaching was out of the realm. But when I was working at the co-op, I was coaching a little basketball team, a little CYC basketball team. They were fifth graders. Zach Ingram. Okay. Yeah, and I still wanted to become a coach after coaching Zach Ingram, Seth Jones, to name a few of the kids. And Bernie Chavarria was helping me, and we were coaching this basketball team, and I guess my boss, Mr. Robinson, came to watch, and he called me in his office a week later and said, "Hey, why don't you just go be a coach? You're coaching baseball, you're coaching basketball. Why don't you ever thought about that?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. I just don't think I'd be a great teacher." And he said, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'll work with you." And I think it was that point when I started doing that, coaching the little league and the basketball, Pee Wee basketball teams, that I really enjoyed being a coach and being around kids and trying to find a way to motivate them.
Yeah.
And I guess I had knowledge because I played college basketball and I played football in high school, so I kind of had some knowledge about it. So, I think that I had great coaches that helped me build, that were great at building relationships, man. They were really good. Coach West was mean. I remember having to run for him, but he was always good to me. So I always held me accountable. So I think that kind of, naturally, I kind of went into it after that point. But yeah, if it wasn't for Mr. Robinson, I probably would have done it.
Well, it's safe to say that it all worked out for the best.
It has, it really has. I mean, you're right. I mean, there's no telling what I would have been doing, but yeah, I mean, it has. I think I've been blessed to be able to coach and teach. It doesn't matter where you do it.
Yeah.
Kids are kids everywhere, and they're the same at a lot of places, I think. But our kids are just a little bit different. I'm telling you, there's something about our kids that just kind of, everybody comes in always when they come in to coach our kids, they're like, "Man, their kids are different." I was like, "No doubt."
For sure.
They work.
Well, you've been back in Comanche going on your third year now, third season.
Mm-hmm.
What has stood out to you the most that makes you love the town of Comanche and the area? Like, what's been great to you about it so far?
I think the way our kids are, you can coach them pretty hard. You can coach them. You can demand a lot out of them. Mm-hmm. And I think at first I didn't know, because you never know if they're going to buy into it. You never know if they're going to buck it or not. But I think the way that their coachability, they want to work. I think they want to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that has really surprised me a lot. I knew we had the athletic ability to do some great things. I'll tell you what makes me so mad when I hear people, "Well, we've never had the athletes. We've never had this. We've never." Well, I mean, we build them. Build them, and really, it's a team sport. If you can build a team, you can be successful.
Definitely.
And so that always drove me nuts. That it was like a built-in excuse. So, but in the community, I mean, just the outpouring support from our community. I feel like there's a lot of pride here now. And I tell our kids all the time, and I was talking to someone the other day, and I was telling them, I get fired up when I see an ex-Comanche kid or alum or someone that just graduates that's going off to school or, gets a scholarship and whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I get fired up for them because to me, that's like one of our kids. That's just one of our kids, the 76442, That's who we are, Comanche. And so I get fired up about that, and that's what I really enjoy.
Gotcha. All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot here. Give us a hidden gem. What's a meal or a dish from one of your favorite restaurants that the students should go check out?
Oh.
Little pressure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Not like the pressure that's going to be out there in a week.
No doubt. I like the Dallas Clucker.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
The Dallas Clucker. I'm a big fan of that. I always go, that's what I always get. I've started a lot more chicken now. I'm trying to lose a little weight. So we kind of have a competition amongst the coaches, so because when we have to order new stuff, everybody's like, "Well, I'm an extra large this year, or I'm a large." So I've been a 2X since I've gotten here. Now I've gotten down to extra large. So I've started a lot more chicken. So Dallas Clucker's good. Tapatio, the quesadillas.
I'm a fan as well.
They're my favorite. I like them. So. Those are a couple dishes I like. I like those. I think if you go to Tapatio, you better get the quesadillas. They're good.
There you go. So students, there you go. That's the meal of the choice meal right there.
And that's where the kids go. The kids go there. They went there last night, I guess, and hung out. They do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they enjoy doing it.
Yeah. In fact, I saw them. It was after the I guess. Well, what do we have the other day? Not the scrimmage, but before that.
Inter squad.
Yeah. A bunch of them over there during the end. So, yep, definitely.
I better tell you this. My wife's a great cook. I'm going to throw this in there. My wife is a great cook. I'm telling you right now. I don't know, she's got the touch, but she makes a great spaghetti, and she does it different types of spaghettis. And she's turkey sausage, all kind. I mean, she does different types, so it's not just like a spaghetti like, that you could make.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great spaghetti.
You're making me hungry. You may have to buy me lunch after
Yeah,
this.
no doubt, of course.
All right. Well, looking back, you go back to those years that you were in high school. If you could tell yourself something now that you didn't know then, what would it be? A little advice for the students.
I was talking to someone the other day about this, about, Mr. Woodley, he's always talking about, when we played and things like that. And I just told him, I said, man, I wish I'd have known. I wish I'd have worked a little bit harder when I was in school. Like, our kids work hard. But for me to tell them is, enjoy the moment. Enjoy the friendships. No matter what, enjoy that part. Enjoy being part of your community and giving back. Because to me, that goes a long ways. And I think, I wish we'd have done a lot more of that. And we didn't do that. And I wish if I could go back, I'd probably change that aspect and be more involved in a lot of other things and support a lot of other things. So, that's my advice for them. And if I could go back, I would do that. I would be a lot more involved in our community.
That's good words of wisdom for sure. All right, I got a couple more questions for you before we dive into Comanche football. We're gonna go rapid fire here. Cowboys or Texans?
Come on, man. Come on. That was Cowboys, baby. That's America's team. Don't even ask me that question.
Rangers or Astros?
Rangers.
Okay, I'm liking the answer so far.
I'll tell you a story about the Astros. When Coach Murray was here, Coach Norwood, Coach Holt, all those guys, they were all Astros fans. And I think they were Astros fans because the boss liked the Astros, right? So and Coach Norwood was with Coach Murray for 20-something years, but I think that's the only reason he liked the Astros, right? Well, I went against the norm, and I was going for the Rangers.
Yep.
And we still talk on, we still have a group chat, and we still talk about it all the time, and we still talk a lot of trash. And I get it. The Astros, who do you think is a more blue-collar team, the Astros or the Rangers?
The Rangers.
That's what I think, too. See, they say the Astros. I think the Rangers are more of a blue-collar team.
Who got caught cheating?
That's exactly right. That's what I try to tell them. No doubt. But yeah, that was always a big argument, and it still is
to this day.
To this day.
All right, Mavericks, Spurs, or Rockets?
Mavericks.
All right, and then the most important question of all: University of Texas, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, or Baylor?
I can't answer that one, man. Let me tell you, I like them all.
Understandable.
I like them all.
I had to put you on the spot, but understandable.
I like them. I really do. And it's, people are like, who do you like? And I'm like, I like them all. As long as I like them all when they're all playing against someone else besides the Texas team.
There you go.
So I like rooting for all of them.
I'll let you answer a politician answer.
I bet. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
I'll let that one slide. All right. So the last question before we get into Comanche football that I want to ask you about. There's a new bill that was introduced. Of course, you and I have talked about it. It was introduced to the Texas Senate by Barbara Gervin Hawkins. Big controversy, but it basically allows a transfer portal like they have in college football for Texas high school athletes with no penalty whatsoever. Obviously, the chances of it passing slim to none. But when you hear that, what's your thoughts on something like that?
Times have changed. They really have. And it all started because of the NIL and the transfer portal and all that, and the college, and it's always going to trickle down. That's just the way it is. And you've seen what it's done to college football. It's
free agency.
Yeah, it's just become free agency. So I do not like it. Now, really, does it affect us? Probably not, because they're going to have to move to come to us. If they want to come to school here.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Now, in the big city, yes, it'll affect them a lot. And there'll be powerhouses, and there'll be schools that aren't powerhouses, and those schools will be gone, and the school spirit will be gone. And to me, I think that's what keeps those schools going is the school spirit and the pride they have in their teams and things like that. So I think it's absurd, but it doesn't surprise me, nowadays. It really doesn't. Everybody's willing to. I don't know if it's a trend where someone wants to be the first one to start something,
Yeah.
But it's not. There's no logic to it,
Yeah.
So I think if you're looking out for the best interest of kids, communities, and schools, then you obviously think that's not the way to do things. So hopefully it doesn't, but I'm not ever gonna say never because it might. So.
Well, what's that old adage? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. That's right. But there'll be some powerhouses if they allow it to happen. The Allens of the world will be. The South Lake Carrolls will be top again.
Yeah, Duncanville, North Shore, all those types of schools for sure.
So, I hope it doesn't, but You never know.
Okay. All right, let's dive into some Comanche football. So 5 days from now, y'all's first game on the road. 12 days from now is the first home game. The students, the fans, they're going to fill up the stands. They're going to get here early. They're going to be wearing black and gold. They're going to, be loud, stay the whole game, try to help y'all win that game. But tell us the football philosophy. Like, what are we trying to get done out there? What's our objective? What brand of football are we going to be playing?
I think the best brand of football is the brand that wins.
No doubt.
But no, I really, smash mouth football with a little spread. I've always felt like that's been our philosophy, is being able to run the ball in between the tackles and still being able to throw the ball out there and have some big plays with our receivers and be able to use their talents. Because I think we have a wide variety of talented young men. We have to be able to throw the ball, to get Kyler Bailey the ball, be able to run the ball to let Sawyer, and then also our quarterback throw and run. So I think it's our responsibility to spread the ball around, but still be able to understand what your philosophy is.
Yeah.
We want to run in between the tackles, and we want to give the ball to the running back and be able to run, but we also want to be able to throw.
Without a doubt. All right. Well, do you know right now what the first play of the season's going to be?
I do not know. I do not know, and I'm going to tell you, Blake, I'm going to. This is my first year. I've called the offense for the last 10 years probably. This will be the first time I'm not going to call the offense. I'm going to let Coach Bogle call the offense this year. I might chime in and give some ideas here and there. I'm going to miss that. I am, because I love the strategy, and I'm still going to watch film and do all those things and prepare, because I feel like it's important when I'm watching the game of what I'm seeing. But I'm going to be able to help on the offense and defensive side of the ball, which Coach McClain might not like. I think I just feel like if I want to help coaches grow and keep coaches, I got to trust them. And I trust that he's gonna do a great job for us. I let him do the scrimmages, and he's done a great job so far. So, I've kind of made that decision this morning. As I was sitting here watching film and thinking about it, and so it's gonna be a little bit different. I'm not gonna come up with the first play of the game this year, maybe. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm just kind of struggled a little bit with it, because you're so used
That's
to
your
it.
baby.
That's my baby, and it's always gonna come back to me no matter what. So. But he's done a great job, and we're probably going to tag team it a little bit for a while and see how it goes. So if you ask me what the first play is going to be, I'm probably not going to know. So
if you did know, would you tell us?
If I did know, I would probably call it out. I would call what we call it. You might not know what it is.
All right, so I interviewed some of your players recently, and one thing that I asked them was, in their opinion, what is the biggest difference in this year's team compared to last year's team? But I'm curious to hear your answer.
That's a great question. It's hard to say what the difference is, because I think we're similar in a lot of ways. We really are. Now, do I think every year you get closer? Yes. These guys were sophomores when they first started. There's about 17 of them that started. Maybe not that many, but they're probably a little bit closer because they've gone through the fire together. They've had success, and then now this will be the third year that they went through off season. So obviously the team aspect is probably a little bit closer. Their expectations is a little bit different. They're expected to win. Last year they probably weren't expected to win. So I think that's a difference. I'm on them pretty hard about not letting complacency set in, because I think it can happen. And I told them, I'm honest with them. I said, last year, the year before, we had gone 1-9, so we had a chip on our shoulder. Last year we went 10-2. We don't have a chip on our shoulder because we feel like we were already there. And so I really harped on them last week. I was on them pretty hard every day about it, So I think it kind of creeps in there, and it's hard to keep it out because everybody everywhere is telling them how great they are.
Yeah.
And for a 16, 17-year-old kid, sometimes it's we're here.
Music to their ears.
Music to their ears. You're getting all these pats on the back. Sometimes you forget how you got there. So I think the expectations has changed a lot for us, but our work ethic's still the same. We worked just as hard last year as we did this year. So our kids were here during the summer. It's amazing how our kids are committed to that, and To me, that's what makes the difference.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of leads me to my next question that you've somewhat already answered. But, as you said, that first year was 1-9. So going into last year, those expectations really weren't there from other schools, especially. Now, you went 9-1 in the regular season. Everyone's aware of who you are. Your running back made a lot of headlines for his production. I mean, there's clearly a target, you could say, on y'all's back. And how do you go about handling said target besides just talking to them, and letting them know?
We've done a lot more competition this year in our practices. We've kind of implemented some things that we went to watch a couple college schools, how they did their practices. They had a little success here before, won conference championships, and we sat down with the coaches and kind of talked to them about, hey, how do you keep it going? How do you keep the, that energy and the motivation to keep on succeeding? And so they gave us some ideas about how to do competition. Just kind of throw it out there, have situations in practice. Hey, overtime, second overtime, you got to go for 2 here for the win, or you're down at the 10. You got 3 plays to score. You got 3 plays to stop them. So we started throwing that in our practices and just making a competition for about 10 minutes. We go 3 and out. So I got from Todd Dodge at Austin Westlake. That 3 and out, defense tries to get 3 and out, offense tries to get a first down in 3 plays. So I think that kind of helped energize our practices.
Yeah.
And people stop thinking about, hey, this is how good we are. They don't think about that. They're thinking about competing. So they're competing, they're going full speed, and I think to me that's what's kind of allowed us to kind of get over that hump of, hey, we made it. And I think, and like you said, we can harp on it all we want. Kids are the ones that got to believe it. And I think if we are all on the same page, kids will start eventually, okay, maybe coach is right. And I think that first scrimmage opened our eyes a little bit. It was good. And sometimes you need to get hit in the mouth a couple of times, and then, hey, you know what? Maybe we're not as good as we thought we were.
Definitely.
And I think it kind of woke us up a little bit, and we had a little different pep to our step this week.
Gotcha. All right, well, 2 more questions for you, then I'll let you go. Before, I just want to make sure it's still recording since that call came in. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So you talked about the scrimmage, and you got 2 scrimmages in the book now. You faced off against Taco in the first one, and then San Saba. What did you learn the most about your team in those 2 scrimmages?
In the first one, I'm going to tell you, I learned a lot that we had to get back to work. And I'm telling you, it was a good wake-up call for us. I felt like we had been a physical football team in the last 2 years that we've been here, and I felt like we weren't very physical that game. I don't know, and I blame myself a little bit because I feel like we went into the scrimmage and we really didn't game plan for it. We just said, hey, we're just going to run this, not worried about what they're in. We're just going to run our offense. Well, we really didn't tell the kids, blocking schemes and things like that because we really didn't know what they were going to be in. I kind of, and before we played, I said, we're going to rotate a lot. We're going to see who's going to, just move people around to get positions and see who's going to play and things like that. So I might have put that in their seed in their head, hey, this is just going to be like a practice, instead of it being, hey, this is competition. We're going to get after it. And so I take full responsibility for that aspect of things. So I learned my lesson. I said, I'm not going to do that. Hey, San Saba's scrappy. They're going to come get after us. I've watched them on film. They got none to lose. They're going to come after you. And I harped it all week. We talked about it in meetings and showed them film and showed films of them kids getting after it. And I said, so they're going to come over here and they've seen your ranking and they want to take you down, And so I think that helped. And then, last night, I've always felt we're pretty explosive. I think we're a little sharper now than we were last year at this time. That's one thing that I think is different. I think last year we were kind of growing into who we were. It was Layton's first, year at quarterback. Yeah. He's got a little more confidence. I feel like we got a lot of players that can play. Honestly, we're trying to go a straight defense, a straight offense, and I don't think we're skipping a beat. I think we're all kind of playing together because there's guys that only play defense, and there's guys that only play offense, and I think it hasn't been at a 3A Division II school. That's very rare that happens.
For sure.
I feel like we have a lot of kids that can play and can contribute, and there's 88 opportunities in the football game, whether it's special teams, offense, defense. So we have 37, 38 bodies out there, and if those kids really want to buy in, they have 88 chances to give it their all and make a play.
Yeah.
So have an opportunity to do something. So I think we just have a lot more kids that can do things.
And then you have to be enjoying that for sure.
Oh, there's no doubt. I enjoy it. And that's the thing about not calling plays. Like, so now I can enjoy the game,
Yeah, a little
right?
bit more,
So
yeah.
So when a kid does something great on defense, I can actually hug them, pat them on the back, say great job. Because when I'm calling the offense, I'm like, okay, what's the next play? All right, take a shot here. What, left hash, right hash, whatever. Because in my mind, that's what I'm going through. Because that's how you practice. So say like, okay, so we have a turnover. In my mind, this is my mind, not our offense coordinator, it's my mind. I say, okay, turnover here, we're on our own 30. So in my mind, we've practiced this situation. We're going to take a shot here. All right, we're on the left hash, we're going to throw a post to Kyler Beatty or a stop and go, whatever it may be. So when it happens, immediately I look, okay, what is it? All right, so I look down, boom, call it, and that's the shot we take. And then, or whatever may happen. When kick off a turn, all right, we're right hash, 20, first and 10, tight end to the boundary, tight end, so and all this is process. I don't have time to tell kids, hey, great job, great job. And now, like the other night, I had fun just coaching kids. I had fun just loving them up, coaching them hard, being able to bring them aside and say, hey, I know I was tough on you at this time, but I'm going to tell you, this is why. I mean, you're better than this, or whatever, giving it some words of encouragement. And to me, that's why I coach, not so much for the offensive coordinator calling plays. I coach because I love to see kids succeed.
Yeah.
And then when they come off the field, I want to pat them on the back, or, so I've really enjoyed that part. At the scrimmages, I've been in the back and kid does something good, great job. I've changed, in a sense, because I haven't had to be so analytical about what I'm going to call next.
Makes sense.
Yes, and I like that, so I'm going to enjoy it.
All right, my last question for you. What's one thing that you want to tell the fans, parents, or anyone else out there about this year's team?
I think every team has its own identity. And I think our kids really love the community. I think, and every team we've had cares about a community, but I just feel like there's so much. I think that we've kind of grown into that aspect of things. I think we've kind of thrusted it out there year by year. It's gotten better, right? But I'm gonna tell you this: I think our kids love our community, and I think that's why our kids play as hard as they do, is because they love this community. They love the support. So I think when there's a big crowd, kids know. Like kids will tell you, it's funny. Last year at the homecoming, they're like, "Coach, there were cars parked all the way up to the hill up there."
Yeah.
People don't think they know. They know. They know when there's a crowd there. They know when there's support. And to me, I just hope our community supports them back, because our kids do care about that.
Yeah. And they feed off of it.
And they feed off of that. And kids are kids, and kids are always going to make bad choices. I mean, we've made bad choices as kids. It doesn't make them bad kids.
Yeah.
And I tell people this all the time. Sometimes I go in that room or come in here and I'm like, God, they wear me out today. But the next day, they're just different kids, and I still think we have the best kids in the state. And that's what's so hard not to be in a place like this, is because of the kids. So go support them, because I know they care about whether you're there or not.
Well, Coach Escobar, I appreciate it. Thank you. First game this Friday against Brady at 7:30.
7.
7. Okay.
7. It's like a
o'clock.
district game. Yes. Jaron Roberts.
Uh-huh.
He's an old Comanche alum. I coached Jaron back in the early 2000s, and he's a head coach there. And I said, Jaron, why do you want to do 7? I'm like, Coach, we just want to make it all. They're all 7 in our game was only at 7:30 for some reason in their schedule.
Huh.
So I said, that's fine, Jaron, I'll do it. It's the first year, I'll do it for you, man. And so it's kind of neat. We've been talking back and forth.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm being a lot more positive with him, because it's his first head coaching job, and I remember what that was like.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel like you can conquer the world, and then you start going into it about 3 weeks, and you're like,
What did
I get into, man? What, did I sign up for this? Did I really apply for this job? And so it's been kind of neat just talking to him and kind of trying to tell him, hey, it's all right. Just keep battling. It's gonna get better. And after watching film, I think he's doing a great job. He's doing a good job for coming in late, and so I'm excited about that, playing him
Oh, that's very cool.
It's going to be really cool. So.
That's an added dimension to the game for sure.
It is.
All right, well, good luck, and don't forget, on Friday, we will be on the radio for the Coaches Show, the Texas Bank Coaches Show, right here at the high school at 10 a.m., so be sure to tune in to that, and then head to Brady at 7 o'clock.
7 p.m. Don't show up at 7:30.
On Friday night for the Indians' first game of the season.
Road Tribe.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Blake.